All right, it's Kevin from Horology Project with another video. Today we have the Seiko Alpinist. Just to jump into this was a watch that I never thought I would own, mainly because when I first started getting into watches, I would watch videos on the internet, and for whatever reason, this watch never spoke to me. And I think the reason is because most videos just cannot translate how beautiful the proportions and the overall finishing of this watch are. And even my camera is really struggling to capture that, mainly because this sunburst dial is so unique. This is truly a gorgeous watch, and the reason why I ended up giving it a chance was once I found out they were going to be discontinued or officially discontinued in favor for the 2020 model, I decided to snag one up, and I got it at a good price, and I figured at worst I could probably, if I didn't like it, resell it for what I purchased it for, since there's been a slight price bump on this watch. A little bit about the watch's history. It's a long-running line at Seiko, which is great because it's really enjoyable to get into watches, especially when a watch has a heritage or a history. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, these Alpinists have been around for at least 50 years. So there's been a lot of different iterations, but the main reason why this watch came into existence was because it's a mountaineering watch. You may have noticed that there is a compass on the kind of where typically the chapter ring would be on other Seiko watches. And this is a rotating bezel, inner bezel feature that allows you to calculate north, south, east, and west based off of the sun. So it's a neat little feature designed for people that are mountaineering. So while this watch is definitely somewhat dressy, there is that rugged charm to it, being that it kind of blends really well, almost like how a Rolex Explorer blends really well between being a dressier looking watch and a watch that can handle the elements. So this has a really, what I would call a unique dial, in that it has these gold applied indices that are just so spectacular. Really plays with the light well, along with its green sunburst dial. I think green and gold are a great combination. A little bit about the dimensions of the watch. The watch is 46 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, 20 millimeters in lug width. It's about 39 millimeters across the case of the watch and 12 millimeters thick. I have this current Alpinist paired with a vintage Bond NATO from WatchGecko that I think is just a great overall NATO to buy. Definitely recommend it. I love the play on this strap between the dial and the strap itself. But yeah, I can't really say enough good things about this watch. Because of those dimensions that I had just listed, this watch really is in that perfect category. What I mean by that is we've been wearing watches for generations, and the watches that seem to be the most popular or the most timeless are all within that range of about 40 millimeters, give or take one. And this is taking 1 millimeter. But if you think about it, the original Speedmaster, 39 millimeters. The Black Bay 58, which has been really popular lately, 39 millimeters. The original subs, I think, were around 38, 39 millimeters, and now are at 40 millimeters. The Explorer 1, 6-digit, 39 millimeters. The Oyster Perpetuals, 39 millimeters for the new one. So it's definitely a favored size, at least across the bezel. And I love it when watches are under 47 millimeters in lug tip to lug tip, because what that means is most people are going to be able to wear this watch and it look great on the wrist, whether if you have a bigger wrist or a smaller wrist. In my case, I have a 6.5-inch wrist. The watch I'm wearing today is the Omega Speedmaster. So I have what you would call a smaller wrist from average, and I'll just go ahead and show you what the Alpinist looks like on my wrist. It is on a NATO strap, so there's going to be a little bit of added height to the watch, but because it's 12 millimeters thick, it's not going to add any, it's not going to wear too tall, unlike my criticism for the new Tudors. So as you can see, even though I have a smaller 6.5-inch wrist, this watch wears great. No complaints. Absolutely stunning. Isn't that green and gold just gorgeous? The great thing is that even though this is discontinued, the new model is very much similar to this older model. Now, there has been some complaints, mainly because they made the dial look a little sportier, took out some of that language. I like that it talks about its shock resistance and that it's 20 bar, which, by the way, 200 meters of water resistance. How awesome is that with the sapphire crystal? Really, really great buy. So yeah, that is this watch. To speak just a little bit about the movement, mine has been keeping within 10 seconds daily, with sometimes even being better than that mark. And it is hand winding and hacking. The crown threads just great on this watch, winds really nice. Let's see if you can hear it. Can you hear that? Really great, confidence-inspiring winding, and it does have a nice signed crown. So here it is, the Seiko Alpinist in all of its glory. What do you think? Do you think this older, now discontinued Alpinist is the better of the two? Or is the newer, modern, updated Alpinist with the Cyclops the one to buy? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that on the comments below. Be sure to like and to subscribe. That really helps me out. I would love to be able to spend some more time working on these videos. So please encourage me by being able to do that. And we'll see you in the next one.